Welcome back to this episode of the RGA Podcast.
RGA Podcast.
I am Matt Coots, Chief Operating Officer for RGA Network, and I am joined by
John.
Philippe.
Just John.
Gaston.
Just call me John.
John. And we are joined by Mr. Bob Brenner himself.
What's up there, Bob? How you doing,
Bobby.
buddy?
Thanks for having me, guys.
No, thanks for being on.
The artist formerly known as Bob.
Bob.
You're funny.
So, Bob, for all of our legions and legions of fans, tell everybody, a little bit about yourself, the company you work for, and then you've done some really interesting things. So, as soon as you're done with that little intro,
Backstory
is awesome.
amazing.
I know, I can't wait for this. So,
Amazing.
Tell us a little bit about where you are, what you're doing, all of the good things.
Well, I am coming live from Clearwater, Florida today, from our new facility with Evolve Strategic Marketing. I handle the business development for Evolve, and I am so blessed to be part of an amazing company that is really changing businesses every single day.
Love it. I love it. So, where do you want to dive in with this backstory? Because, my God, should we start?
Do we have time?
Should we start with the TV show, or should we start with like his previous career?
The previous career.
Let's do the previous career. All right, tell us about your original career, Mr. Bob.
So, are you?
Not the strip.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, there's no stripping poles involved.
Kind of beat us to it.
Hey, no, back in 1992, I started in law enforcement. I spent almost a 25-year career in law enforcement. Most of that time, I was a detective for 15 years. But probably what you want to hear about is the most fun. I spent 10 years as undercover narcotics. And during that time, I did cases throughout the state of Wisconsin. I worked major wiretaps. I worked major drug trafficking organizations really from around the world. And so I did that for almost 10 years. And so just when you think you saw everything, and then it's a new day, and then you see something else. But I had an amazing career. I was extremely blessed. And probably most importantly, I was able to do all this because I had a loving and supporting family that understood that dad could leave at any point in time. And then sometimes when we were at like a restaurant, I'd like, all right, kids, you got to walk away from me because there was a bad guy that I just bought some dope from. So yeah, it was a fun career, man.
That's crazy.
That's nuts.
I know. So what made you get out of that? Obviously, Wisconsin's a far cry from Clearwater, Florida. What brought you down here to the, should we say, the free state of Florida?
Yeah. Free state, baby.
What brought you
I
down
think
here,
you
Bob?
did say free state, and we are a free state. No, my wife has been in the dental industry for almost 25 years, and she had an amazing opportunity to work with a company and have Florida as her base. And so it was kind of my time to support her. And when I got here, I didn't have a job, and I was really looking for my kind of next steps. And I was blessed to meet some amazing people with Evolve Strategic Marketing. And after multiple discussions, I felt it was a right fit, and they felt I was a right fit for them. And it's all history from there.
There we go. And obviously, this being the members podcast, Bob Brenner is obviously a member of RGA, Revenue Generating Network, Activities Network. And I believe that's actually how you met Zach and Joanne. So we're one of the things that I always find interesting is you find different ways to utilize RGA. You don't always find like your best client ever. Sometimes it's new opportunities. Sometimes it's partners. Sometimes it's just really great people that you become really good friends with.
Yep.
And yeah, so I love that story. I love.
Wait a minute. We're supposed to have friends in RGA?
It's,
I don't got
we're a family Find a member and learning why.
I'm just saying. I've already got my place in this world. It's good.
We have our own language at RGA.
We do.
Yes, we do. Moms, dads,
Yep.
cows, all kinds of stuff.
Yep, exactly. So that's awesome. And now you're over with Zach and Joanna at Evolve Strategic Marketing, a big piece of what they're building over there. That's fantastic. Now you were also on a TV show a little while back, if I recall. Why don't you tell us about how all of that happened? This is like the giant this is like Bob's backstory.
Right.
Like if we were doing an origin story movie, this would be Bob's.
Yep.
Well, so it really goes back to 2012. I had, I played college football, was an athlete growing up, and then through the years, I just kind of let some things go. And in 2012, I was over 450 pounds, and I realized that I needed to do something extreme. So why not go and audition for a TV show called Extreme Weight Loss on ABC? So it was quite the process. And so I was, in May of 2012, I started a 1-year transformation on ABC. Throughout that process, I lost 253 pounds. After that, I had I think there was over 5 million viewers of my episode. And then after that episode, I wrote 2 books and spoke publicly about my life story around the country. And it all accumulated. My final public speaking was at the Mirage in Las Vegas in front of 10,000 people. So you talk about an amazing platform that I had to share my story with other people's lives. And just really, it's a relatable story because we all have something that we struggle with. And mine clearly was weight and being a food addict and going through that process. And it's never not a struggle, but it was an amazing part of my life. And, I was really blessed to really meet a lot of really good people through that process. Chris and Heidi Powell, who, celebrity trainers that were a part of the show. And then, of course, all the people that I was on the show with, just still to this day are really good friends of mine.
That's
So you actually I had a friend that was on as well, Michael Gianellis down in Tarpon Springs, and
I know Michael well.
okay, so do you really stay in touch with them? I mean, the hosts and everything, your trainers.
Well, I think it all varies. I mean, it's I'm sure Chris Powell. I mean, he loved everybody, but there's probably some people that he loved more than others. Right. I think that's natural.
Who doesn't love Bob? Bob is
right.
But to this day, it was kind of cool. So we have Freddie Rapina, who is a financial advisor. His wife was a really big fan of Chris Powell. And so when they moved
I'm a really
into
big fan
their
of Heidi Powell, so that makes sense.
right.
Even though I think she's remarried now, but yeah.
She's not remarried. She's
Nope.
single.
Oh, okay. There we go.
She's single.
Oh.
Matt,
But
man,
anyway,
you.
the cool thing about Chris Powell was he actually did a video for Freddie's wife, welcoming her to the new home. So it was pretty cool.
That's pretty neat.
Awesome. That is
That's
very, very
pretty
cool.
neat.
Dang.
Yeah, so that's fun. Not many people can say that they had that opportunity, right?
That's
correct. Bob, what I'm hearing and seeing is that you attract some really interesting, unique things into your life. So, unique things for sure.
Very unique.
So that is awesome, man. So, what does business development entail to some extent? You're saying you're doing the business development with Evolve. Tell me a little bit about Evolve Strategic Marketing first, and then tell me a little bit about just kind of what your role in general terms is.
Right. Well, so Evolve Strategic Marketing, came on the map about 2 years ago. And so you have Ethan Nowitzki, who is the CEO, and then, of course, Zach DeWitt, who is our president, who both have been in marketing for over 20 years. and they saw a lot of things in marketing that they didn't like. And ultimately, they decided to form this amazing company of Evolved and really put small businesses on the map. And the average retention rate for small businesses when it comes to marketing is about 4 months. And the number one feeling when Zach did a survey of about 350 businesses in the Tampa area, the number one feeling that was brought forward was anger. People are angry about the way in which marketing companies have treated them. And so our goal is to change that. We want clients to be with us for the long term. And at the end of the day, it comes with realistic expectations. Anytime we sit down with a client, we give them the real expectations of what it takes to be successful in all areas of marketing. So from designing their website to teaching people how to people become aware of you and really understanding what that customer journey looks like, to how are they found on the website through SEO. And then what's their reputation? I don't know about you, but when I look at a business that I want to either do business with, or if I want to go to a restaurant, the first thing I'm going to look at is what is their reputation? What are their reviews? And so we help businesses with that process. And then ultimately, we want our business to be able to convert clients, and that's, through their website. And then the biggest thing is we want people to become their number one cheerleader. And that's also important as well.
For sure.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, no, I like that whole customer journey aspect too, so that's really cool. Awesome. So obviously the company's doing interesting things. Zach and his wife Joanne and Ethan, they're all members of RGA as well, so we appreciate them being in the network and in the community. So Bob, tell me about what's coming up next, man. So you're here now, your family's here now, you're settled, everything is going well. We just today technically is Halloween, isn't it?
Today, well, this is the 31st. This won't air today, but yes.
Right. No, but
today is
as
Halloween.
The day of filming, this is Halloween. So what's next on the agenda for Bob Brenner and family and friends and business associates? Where are you planning on taking all of this? Because all of this is just a unique experience, right? Like you've done a lot of really interesting things. So where are you seeing yourself in the future here?
Well, I mean, ultimately where I see myself is, so I spent, 25 years in law enforcement, and I see myself over the next 25 years helping Evolve Strategic Marketing grow throughout the state of Florida. And then ultimately the goal is to go to other states. So my goal is to help with that process. I think so highly of Zach and Joanna, and of course Ethan. They have a great vision for this company. Their value systems fall in line with my value systems. And so I really hope to continue to help others, because just think about when I was in law enforcement, I served other people. I served the community in which I served and protected. And I see myself really in the same type of work of serving people and helping small business become successful. I kind of look at it as when you go to a church, basically the church community accepts people to where they're at in their life, where they're at in their walk in faith. And we do the same thing at Evolve, whether it's a brand new company that is just starting out, that really needs to understand what they need to do and understand that customer journey, or if it's that company that has used a marketing company for the past 5 years and they have no idea what their analytics are, and they don't know what they spent and what is their return on investment. So we can really come alongside those businesses regardless of where they're at, what the stage of business is. And I know that we can help them, and we do that with integrity.
Very nice. So tell me a little bit, like, what else do you like to do besides work, spend time with the family? What are some of the other hobbies?
Oh, well, so when I lived before I moved to Florida, I lived in Colorado, and I used to bike over the entire state of Colorado. I literally did a 450-mile bike ride. It was over 7 days. We climbed over 40,000 feet of elevation during that time, and I really enjoyed it. I was a very avid biker in Colorado. Well, since I moved to Florida, traffic is a little bit different. The motoring public has a different feeling about bicyclists. So I'm on my Peloton now in my garage because it's a little bit safer.
When you scare a police
safer.
officer, an ex-police officer into doing that, you know you're a bad driver.
You know. Oh my
God,
Right.
mercy.
Jeez.
That's crazy.
All those New Yorkers. No, I'm kidding.
I
I'm kidding.
I didn't say that, but
It's definitely not the Midwesterners. No. No, definitely not. Definitely not. Actually, I was at a
I'm
big
trying to be good.
Big C meeting, so the Bear Island Governing Council meeting.
Right.
And one of the things that we had the Forward Pinellas rep there, or person there, representative.
Right.
And they were talking about all of the traffic incidents and the goals, and they were trying to get all of the mayors signed on with that mission, and they did. But there are some danger spots in Pinellas County, that's for sure.
Some?
They are numerous, and I've only lived in Pinellas for 6 months or so.
Yeah, I've been here. I've lived in this state for almost 26 years.
Yeah.
And these people cannot drive.
It's great.
You said it, John.
I ain't got no
crazy,
problem
man.
saying it. They have no idea what a blinker is.
Nope.
They have no idea what, looking in a mirror to make sure no one's over there that you can kill.
Yellow
I'm just
definitely
telling
means
you,
drive
it's-
faster.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
Turn signals are they're giving
They're
warning
optional.
to the person next to you. So why would you use them?
Right.
They would just speed up if they saw your turn signal. So why would
Yeah.
you use a turn signal?
Right. Don't let them know, because
My
then you
God.
can't get in at all.
Yeah, you can't get in at all. My God. So.
Yeah. And if you ride a motorcycle, God bless you. You in the state of Florida, you have got to have a guardian angel when you're riding a motorcycle.
Yeah, that is totally believable. Okay, so we've got a little over 8 minutes left here. I wanted to dive into like some of your experiences probably are applicable to this, and kind of speaking. This kind of speaks to what you were saying. Your goals there are too, with sharing evolved. But at RGA, one of our core values is really that entrepreneurship is the pathway to financial freedom. And so one of the main things that we try to do, we just finished our 3-month series on RGA Speaks, where we went from clarity to notepad to launchpad, building a plan and structure for your business, to literally last Thursday we had the power of gratitude, kind of rounding things up, right? So, we're very big into this whole concept of helping people wherever they may be, speaking to them wherever they may be, and helping them to level up and achieve more in their business, because entrepreneurship is so important to us, and we want to empower everybody that's a member of RGA. And those that aren't, we want to empower them too. We want to allow them the easiest opportunity to join RGA and become a part of this community and to grow their business and get access to this education. So, along those lines, that was very long-winded of me. That was a minute and a half. Gosh, Bobby. Let's say that you were able to address a group of people. So RGA Speaks is, it's almost our version of a TED Talk, so to speak, because it is us putting people on stage to speak to this audience that we've created and to share priceless knowledge with them. So let's say that you were able, Bob, to address a group of people from stage at RGA Speaks in the near future, what is one piece of advice that if you took everything you've learned thus far, I mean, you're a young man, but if you've learned everything, he has more hair than I do, so I can say that, more than Jean-Philippe Gaston as well.
Yeah, way more than I do.
So if you were to take everything that you've learned from personal life, business, professional life, what would be that one thing that you'd really want to leave them with, that you'd want them to take away? What would be that one, like, ultimate takeaway that you think they should know?
Yeah, I would say to be authentic. Um, you know, as a former detective, and I would sit down and interrogate people. I could tell almost immediately whether or not they were telling me the truth, because I was looking at all their body movements and what they were saying and how they were saying it. And of course, I do the same thing with networking. But I would say I have been successful in my networking career because I'm Bob Brenner. I'm myself. I'm authentic at every meeting I go to. And then secondly, I would say just being really consistent and persistent. So being consistent in the networking in the networking meetings, and then being persistent with follow up. So consistent in the meetings, and then persistent with the follow up after those meetings. So I think, you know, being authentic, being consistent, and being persistent are really the three factors that I think will drive anybody's success as they are involved in networking.
Yeah, one of the things we always say is that you have to show up if you're going to blow your business up, right? Like, you have to show up. And if you're not there, if you're not building social currency with other members in your meetings, in your communities, in your networking efforts, then it's, you know, you have to start rebuilding that like, trust, and knowing factor all over again if you take time off. I know that you were running a meeting for us up in the land of Dade City for a while, so I wanted to
Right.
take a moment and thank you for doing that. You know, there's a lot of really big things coming with RGA, so I'm happy that you're part of our community, and that, you know, you're showing up consistently and authentically, and providing value, because I think that's another important piece of that whole equation too, is you're not just showing up consistently, but consistently showing up with value and providing that to people. You know, we talk all the time about the importance of providing value. I mean, shoot, Steve Hopper, when he did his session at RGA Speaks, talked about the easiest way to create that social currency with somebody is to give, to provide value. So I would challenge everybody that watches this to think about the people that are in their network, maybe that they don't know super well, maybe that they've never really truly connected with, and think of ways to try and provide more value to them, to break into that potential relationship, friendship, you know, business working relationship. So, cool, man. Well, hey, we appreciate you being on here. Any other thoughts? I mean, let me do a little RGA interview of your experiences with RGA.
There you go.
You know, first off, how have you found? Because we just finished up the RGA Speaks for the last 3 months. How have you found the RGA Speaks series to be, and the weekly business builders that we've been doing during this 3-month stretch? You know, what have your thoughts been on that?
Well, I mean, I think all the topics that are brought up in RGA Speaks are really vital to all businesses. And I think it gives, you know, when you go to a meeting and there's a new business builder, it just gives you, as either a business owner or a W-2 person, an opportunity to really explore yourself, explore what you're doing for your business. And it gives you a time of self-reflection. And then, probably more importantly, I get to network with a bunch of people that are smarter than me. And I get to hear their thoughts and opinions and viewpoints on all of the business builders that we do. So the input is so outstanding that you get to hear from other people. And then, Matt, I just want to say the other thing too is, when I first started in RGA, that was the first networking group that I've ever been a part of. And I have to say, I have been treated, when they talk about family, find another member in learning why, it really is a family. And I am so grateful for all the opportunities that I've gotten through RGA. And I think it's one of the finest networks in the country.
Well, we appreciate that. We're
Wow.
constantly putting effort into making it
I've been
better.
to some same meetings he has too.
Yeah, I know. That's surprising. My God. I mean,
They do treat you like family though.
yeah.
Sometimes that's good, sometimes it's bad.
Yeah, sometimes it's great.
It's like, oh God, John's here.
Sometimes it's like, man, you rolled in, you didn't spend a lot of time getting ready this morning, did you?
Yeah, right.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Bob. We appreciate you. And are you going to be at the RGA holiday party next month?
Of course.
Fantastic. Well, then I will
So how-
see you,
How
I'm
can
sure.
people get a hold of him?
Well, it's been flashing on the screen
I
this whole
know,
time,
but
but Bob,
he
why don't
needs
you
to
just
say it.
why don't you just fill us in, because technically this is going to be on a podcast as well, and they won't be able to see that.
That's correct.
So, Bob, tell everybody in the internet land where they can get a hold of you, man.
Well, of course, they can always, as you can see, the website, they can contact through the website. Or if you want to contact me just on my cell phone, like I'm going to throw this out there because I'm not afraid. 262-442-3784. That's Bob Brenner with Evolved Strategic Marketing.
Awesome.
That's
You can
awesome.
also find him on the RGA directory
I was going to
as
say,
well.
we have a
Yes.
directory.
At
It's a good
rganetwork.net. What's that website?
RGAnetwork.net.
There we go. Perfect. All right, guys.
I'm not
Thanks,
gonna
Bob.
get it wrong.
We'll talk to you
Thank
soon,
brother.
brother.
We'll be everybody.
See you soon.
Everybody, we'll see you guys next week with another great podcast. We'll be back.